It is Wednesday, October the 16th, 2024, and on this episode of the Free 3, we have some MLB action, NLCS Game 3 going on in New York, and then we also do have Game 3 of the Liberty and Lynx WNBA Finals. I've got a best bet in each of those games. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm bringing down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we're just trying to get to the bag together and we're just trying to get to that money. Yesterday, 2-1 on the day. Really should have been a 3-0 day in all honesty, because we cashed on Garrett Cole's under 5.5 strikeouts. We get that done easily there. We had to sweat out the 3-team moneyline parlay. South Alabama, MTSU, our two college football picks, they were able to win pretty easily on the money line, but the Dallas Stars, undefeated this year, had to go into a shootout against the winless San Jose Sharks. But our first hockey bet of the year, it cashes, so it gets us done with the moneyline parlay there. Our only loss came on the Yankees and Guardians Nerfy, and if you watch that game, we had an infield pop fly, men on first and second, no outs. We were a double play away from getting out of that inning, and we had an error. The dude just literally couldn't catch the infield fly. I don't know what happened, but it lost. And maybe he thought the infield fly rule was in effect. I don't know what happened, but that was just a terrible way to lose the Nerfy there. A run scored on the error. So 2-1 on the day yesterday. Not too shabby here for the month of October. We're still 7 games above 500. We've got a half a month ahead of us, so hopefully we can finish this month maybe 15-20 games above 500. I would love that. If we keep stringing together 2-1 days, 3-0 days, we'll have a very good October here on the channel. So if you guys want to stay up to date on all those latest picks and plays that we're dropping, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Make sure that you're liking the videos here on the channel as we come out every day with new content, new plays, new winners right here for you guys to continue to cash in. All right, my friends, let's dive into these winners for this Wednesday card. For my first best bet of the day, we're going to head to the MLB game, Game 3 of the NLCS. We've got the Dodgers, we got the Mets at Citi Field. What are we taking here in this matchup? Well, I'm going to lean towards the Mets here to get us started in Game 3 with them on the first 5. I'm going to take them on the money line. That gets us to -115 odds. Now, we've got Luis Severino on the mound for the Mets. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Dodgers. And this is just a pitching disparity, in honest opinion, and that's why I'm taking the Mets on the first 5 here, just isolating it to the starting pitchers, because Luis Severino, he's been very solid this year so far for the Mets. I know Sean Manaea is the guy that's getting all the headlines right now, but Severino is really the person who kept that catalyst together all throughout the regular season. 11-7 on the year during the regular season, to go with a 3.91 ERA, to go with 161 strikeouts. That's not too shabby, but when you look at how he pitched so far in the postseason, he has 1 win and he has 1 no decision, but he already has 2 postseason starts underneath his belt. Both of those games against the Brewers and the Phillies, he was able to go 6 innings. He gave up 3 runs in each of those matchups, but overall, he's been able to go deep into these ball games, and which has been able to allow him to give the Mets bullpen some rest. But keep in mind that both of those games were on the road for Severino so far in the postseason, and he was a much better pitcher at home this year than he was on the road. On the road during the regular season, ERA of 5, but at home during the regular season, he had an ERA of 2.96. Well, guess what? The Mets are at home now. That's why I like him a little bit better. And then when you look at Walker Buehler, a guy whose splits were also very big from road and home. At home, Walker Buehler had a 4.6 ERA. On the road, a 6.53 ERA. We literally saw that thus far in this postseason when he faced the Padres twice in the last series. At home, he went 5 innings, 5 hits, only 1 run given up. Meanwhile, his start on the road, he went another 5 innings, but 7 hits and 6 earned runs given up on the road start. Well, the Dodgers are on the road in this matchup. Citi Field is going to be rocking. I don't even know the last time the Mets had an NLCS game at home, but that stadium is going to be going crazy, especially following the Game 2 win where they were able to win that 7-3. We saw Sean Manaea pitch really well in that game, 5 strong innings. I think the Mets offense right now is the better of the 2 offenses. They are the hot team right now. They're the team of destiny, and as long as they have the pitching matchup advantage like we saw in Game 2, I'm going to lean the Mets, especially in the first 5. We saw them score 6 runs in the first 5 innings in that last game against the Dodgers. No reason why they should not be able to give Severino some run support here. I do lean towards the overall over in this game as well, if that's something that you want to look at, but I'm going to just isolate this to the Mets on the first 5 at home, fading Walker Buehler on the road, who has not been doing strong, and Severino at home, the better of the 2 pitchers. Let's go with that for the first 5 in our first best bet of the day. Now, for our second best bet of the day, we're going to head to the WNBA Finals, another Game 3 that is going on there between the Liberty and the Lynx. And this is a matchup for me that's been pretty interesting because we saw the Lynx come back in that Game 1 from 18 points down and was able to grab that win, but the Liberty were able to rebound in Game 2 there. That's really tough. After blowing such a big lead, that's normally a tough spot for you to really show up and show out, but they knew they had to defend home court. They could not go on the road here in this position against the Lynx and down 0-2. That's just tough. The good news is that the Lynx were able to steal one of those games on the road, so home court advantage has kind of flipped in their favor at this point, and they need to take care of business at home. So now what's going to happen in this matchup? I don't necessarily know if the Lynx are going to win this game. They are road dogs right now, which I'm not a big fan of, because when you look at the numbers for the Lynx this year, they were 26-15 overall against the number and 11-9 against the number at home. So it's not really that too convincing. So I can't really say I'm going to take them on the money unless I'm going to be able to get a better number live. But one thing that I did see was an angle that you want to exploit is the scoring between these two teams, especially to start the game. So we're going to look at the Lynx and Liberty first quarter over 40.5 points. You can get that at -115 odds. Now, this is a pick that I really like because if you've looked at the series between both of these teams, scoring has come paramount, especially in the first quarter, in the first half of games. Right now, both of these teams have led the league in first quarter scoring and offensive rating during the regular season. So you love to see that. And then so far in this series, they've gone over the number in Game 1 and Game 2, actually flying over the total, scoring over 50 points in both of the first two games to start the series. So we're getting literally a 10-point value on this number, but keep in mind that these teams faced off 6 times so far this year, 4 times in the regular season, 2 times in the playoffs. Look at the numbers: 48, 50, 42, 47, and then Game 1 and Game 2, 51 and 52. So they've gone over this number in every single game thus far this series. We know the Lynx are a little bit more of a defensive-minded team when they are playing at home, 5-14 to the under at home this year. But when you look at the Liberty, they're 8-12 to the under on the road. So a lot of times you might be thinking, okay, Noble, well, we're getting some value on the under. The numbers are saying take the under, but this number is just a little bit too low. A lot of the energy is going to be in the building for the Lynx. It's going to be a lot of people excited for this WNBA matchup. There's not a lot of other sports on to distract the audience. I think this is going to be a great game. Minnesota is one of those venues, one of those arenas, one of those sports towns where they're going to show up, they're going to show out. I like scoring early and often in this matchup. 40.5 number. We've flown over that number in every game so far this series. I expected to see the same thing here. And if you even look at last series against the Sun, some of those games were high scoring in the first quarter as well. So that gives me a little bit more confidence to take it here. Give me the first quarter over 40.5 as our second best bet of the day. Now for our third and final best bet of the day, we're going to go with a little cross-sport parlay here. I mentioned that hockey is something I'm trying to get a little bit more into this year. Yesterday we hit our first hockey bet of the year. Well, today let's run it back and we're going to go with a little cross-sport parlay. We're going to go with the Boston Bruins team total over 2.5 goals and the Fisa Collier for 15 plus points. Parlay those together on DraftKings, you get to about -114 odds. So not too bad a value that we're getting for both of these sides. Again, these are just teased down lines. So first, starting off the team total with the Boston Bruins. The Bruins so far this year, they've played 4 games. Let's look at their team totals. They've scored 4 goals, 6 goals, 2 goals, and 3 goals. So they've gone over this number in 3 of the last 4 games. The only game they went under was against the Los Angeles Kings, which is a little bit more of a defensive-minded team from what I know thus far in hockey. We'll see if I get add to my tool belt this year, but so far, okay, 3 or 4, I'm not too mad at that. But when you look at the team that they're facing in the Colorado Avalanche, they have not won a single game this year so far this year. They're 0-3, and they've lost their games pretty handily. They gave up 8 goals to the Golden Knights in their first game of the season. Then they gave up 6 to the Blue Jackets. Then they gave up 6 to the Islanders. Now they're facing a Boston Bruins team, which is one of those teams that's always in contention for playoffs for the Stanley Cup. I don't know how good they're going to be this year, but goals for them to score 3, that's all we need for a team that has not given up less than 6 goals this season. That's something I'm willing to bet on. If you want to take the 4 goals, I'm not opposed to that. But let's go with the Boston Bruins team total over 2.5 goals as the first pick. Now, to parlay that, we're going to go with Napheesa Collier over 15 points or 15 plus points, so really 16 points that we need from her. And that's not asking for too much for the girl who leads the Liberty, who leads the Lynx in scoring, the runner up to the WNBA MVP award. 20 points per game she averaged in the regular season. So we're used to her putting up these type of numbers. Last game against the Liberty, she only scored 16 points, but that was on 7 of 12 shooting. So that's not too bad, but we would like to see her get a little bit more volume there. In game 1 against the Liberty, she scored 21 points, so we can't be too mad at that. Dating back to last series against the Connecticut Sun, 27 points, 29 points, 26 points, 9 points, 19 points, and then her first 2 games against the Mercury, 42 points, 38 points. She's gone over this total in every single game in the postseason except for 1. That means that she's gone over it in 8 of the last 9 games. And if you look at some of the regular season matchups that she had against the Liberty, back on September the 15th, she scored 18 points. Back on July the 2nd, she scored 15 points. Back on June the 25th, she scored 21 points. And then their first regular season meeting, she scored 15 points. So all we need is 15 points, and she's done it in every single game against the Liberty thus far this year. No reason why she should not be able to do it at home in a very big game where you want to be able to keep home court advantage. I expect Napheesa Collier to score really 20 points, 21 points. I really like her overall total, but for me, I'm just going to tease it down a little bit. 15 plus points for Napheesa Collier to over team total for the Boston Bruins, 3 goals. That's not asking for too much for both of these teams and players. We should be able to get it done. Let's cash that in for our third and final best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 quick winners that I'm giving you guys across the slate. We're going to start off with the MLB. We're going to take the Mets on the first 5 money line. We're going to back the better pitcher and the hotter offense right now. We're going to go to the WNBA Finals, and we're expecting some early offense in this one as well. And we're going to take the Liberty and the Lynx first quarter over 40.5 points. And then finally, we're going to go with a little tease down cross-sport parlay. Bruins team total over 2.5. And then Napheesa Collier 15 plus points. That should get us done at around minus 115 odds as well. All 3 picks minus 115 odds. Can't be too bad at it. Not laying too much juice. You love to see that. Hopefully we can be celebrating a sweep tomorrow, and we'll be back Thursday night football on the docket. And we do have some college football games that I like tomorrow as well, which should be good. If you do want a college football lean in today's game, I would take Sam Houston State at home against Western Kentucky. And then FIU, I also like them as well. UTEP, they suck. So those will be my college football leans. But for my official picks and plays I'll be adding throughout the day, click the link in the description, join the free Discord group, and I got you guys. So all right, my friends, let's get to that cheddar, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Later, gang.